Welcome to Open Book, where Raj Shekhar opens his heart and mind. Who needs intellectuals? Thinking has become a threat. And talking about it's scary. Let's stop being polite. We are not living through the decline of the intellectual. We are living through the deliberate sidelining of independent thought. And it is not accidental. It is engineered. Today, thinking deeply is suspicious. Questioning loudly is dangerous. Nuance is treated as betrayal. Emotion is rewarded. Outrage is amplified. Certainty is monetized. Reason, it doesn't trend. Reflection, it doesn't mobilize votes. Complexity, it doesn't sell. And so we are encouraged to feel first, and never think twice. But history did not move forward because people felt strongly. It moved because some people thought independently. Figures like Plato, Immanuel Kant, Karl Marx, and Simone de Beauvoir did not flatter power. They confronted it. They were inconvenient. That is precisely why they mattered. Even today, a PhD stands for Doctor of Philosophy for all disciplines. It serves as a reminder from the past. At the highest level of academic excellence, their work was grounded in philosophy. Philosophy is the disciplined pursuit of fundamental questions about reality, knowledge, truth, morality, meaning, and how we ought to live. The word comes from the Greek philo, love, and sophia, wisdom, literally, the love of wisdom. Philosophy is not a vague reflection. It is structured thinking under pressure. Philosophy asks questions that sit beneath every other discipline. Where science measures, philosophy examines the assumptions behind the measurement. Where law enforces, philosophy questions the basis of justice. Where business seeks profit, philosophy asks about value. It is the foundation layer beneath every serious field. Now look at the state now. Power has become sophisticated. It rarely needs to jail thinkers. It knows something smarter. You don't have to silence independent minds. You can hire them. You can fund them. Award them. Invite them to conferences. Give them proximity to power. And slowly, criticism becomes calibrated. Edges are softened. Language becomes diplomatic. Truth becomes strategic. Independence dissolves into access. And the intellectual becomes safe. Safe thinkers are useful. They legitimize policy. They rationalize inequality. They explain away injustice with impressive vocabulary. They provide footnotes for power. And we applaud them. Authoritarian regimes do not fear the ignorant. They fear the independent. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Even democracies drift in this direction. When questioning policy is equated with disloyalty. When universities are pressured. When artists self-censor. When scholars measure their words for fear of funding loss. The space for independent thought shrinks. Not overnight. Gradually. Until one day, thinking itself feels risky. The Russian philosopher Vitaly Tepkin described the true intelligentsia as loyal to conscience over convenience. Today, convenience wins. Career security wins. Access wins. Visibility wins. Conscience negotiates. And society pays the price. Because without independent intellectuals, something critical collapses. Accountability. Without scrutiny, power expands. Without expansion limits, corruption deepens. Without independent critics, propaganda flourishes. And here is the deeper danger. We begin to mistake noise for debate. Television panels shout. Social media explodes. Hashtags trend. But real thinking, slow, uncomfortable, destabilizing thinking, disappears. We produce experts. We produce influencers. We produce commentators. But fewer people willing to say, calmly and clearly, this is wrong. This is unjust. This is dangerous. Because that costs something. Let's be honest. Independent intellectuals are not marginalized because they are irrelevant. They are marginalized because they are disruptive. They are inconvenient. They interrupt narratives. They expose contradictions. They refuse to simplify reality for comfort. Power prefers intellectuals who decorate. Society needs intellectuals who interrogate. And if interrogation disappears, so does progress. History is brutal on this point. When thinkers retreat, demagogues advance. When conscience is quiet, manipulation becomes normal. When fear governs speech, truth becomes private. We are told we live in the age of information. But information without independence is propaganda. Knowledge without courage is compliance. Brilliance without conscience is dangerous. And the most dangerous societies are not the ignorant ones. They are the ones where intelligent people choose silence. So here is the real question. Not whether intellectuals are unfashionable. Not whether philosophy sells. But whether we are willing to defend the uncomfortable people in our midst. The ones who question. The ones who refuse applause. The ones who challenge both state and market. The ones who will not trade integrity for access. Because if we do not protect independent thought, we will not notice when it disappears. And when it disappears, what remains is not stability. It is control. It is spectacle. And by the time we realize what we have lost, the cost will already be embedded in our institutions, our laws, and our children's futures. Thinking has always been inconvenient. That is precisely why it matters. Read the full blog for a more detailed text. Thanks for sharing your time with the Open Book.